Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Ashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Ityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you for today's Bhakti Vedanta class. So we discussed yesterday 19 chapters. So today we'll be starting 20th chapter. The name is Pure Devotional Service. It's one of the important chapter in this series. This Uddhava Gita series, the most important. So Lord tried many times actually in the previous chapters to establish Shuddha Bhakti. So in the time to time, so he established in many places. Even the last chapter also we have seen. So Ananya Bhakti discussions. So but here we are going to see very exclusively on the eligibility for the Shuddha Bhakti. Also we are going to discuss. So that's why it is quite important, which is a base, fundamental base for our philosophy also, because Rupa Goswami was giving the definition for Shuddha Bhakti. Sanya Vilasha Sunyam Jnana Karma Janavrutam Anukulyena Krishnanusilanam Bhaktiruttama. So for that, it's a desired goal or desired method. That is a method for our Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas to get the ultimate goal. So that's why we have to know the qualification for that, eligibility for that, who is eligible for what. That very thoroughly we are going to discuss in this, very thoroughly. So we'll start our discussion from the first sloka. Was just one thing we have to understand. In the last sloka of the 19th chapter, so what he was saying, in the last sloka of the 19th chapter, he said that, so Kim varnite na bahuna lakshanam gunadoshayoh gunadosha drishir-dosho gunastu bhayavarjitaha. So what he is saying, gunadosha, seeing the good and bad, that means sin and piety. This is not good actually. It is also dosha. Seeing good and bad itself is a dosha, is a defect. So that's why gunas tu ubhaya varjitaha. So then what is guna then? Seeing good and bad itself is a dosha, and not seeing these two, guna and dosha, is known as guna. Seeing good and bad itself is a dosha, and not seeing good and bad is guna. So that's why Krishna was saying, Uddhava was asking the various methods like Shama, Dhamma. So what are the definitions of Shama and Dhamma? He asked the various questions. Then also he was asking the various kinds of the Shama, Dhamma. Before he asked the various kinds of the dharmas, and after that he is also asking the various techniques like Shama, Dhamma, how these are all defined. Shama, Manishtita, Buddha. So that's 36 and 29. After explaining all these definitions, so Krishna is saying that, Uddhava, why you are asking all these? That means various Shama, Dhamma, these are all the sadhanas for the bhakti. So they are, Jnana sadhana, Shama, Dhamma, all controlling this mind, controlling the senses, and so on. So these, that means generally in the Jnana Yoga, so what they do? In the Jnana Yoga, what they do? Generally in the Jnana Yoga, they will be cultivating the So means which will increase the goodness. So that is the general practice. That means good activities we do it nothing but. So gnana sadhanas means practicing the good activities. So that means if you want to practice good activities, you have to also know what are the bad activities. So that's why Krishna was explaining the various these good activities. Then after finally he's saying that seeing good and bad itself is a bad. And so not seeing the good and bad itself is a good, is a guna, it's a merit. Okay. How then, if we don't see good and bad, what will happen? If we don't see good and bad, what will happen? Is there any problem or not? Then there is no need of any law and order, nothing actually. Everything, whatever they want, they do. And but you should not see good and bad. What a nice system actually. Huh? Is it okay? Not seeing the good and bad is good. This proposition is okay?
No, Prabhuji.
No, no. If good and bad is not seen, then what will happen in our life?
Society will become chaos.
Mataji?
The who is strong will become ఎవరైతే బలవంతులు ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళు వీక్ పీపుల్ ని బాగా ఇది చేస్తారు ప్రభుజీ. వాళ్ళు కంట్రోల్ తెచ్చుకుంటారు, వాళ్ళని హింసిస్తారు, వాళ్ళని తీసేసుకుంటారు. సో ఎవ్రీవేర్ వీళ్ళ యొక్క ఉండటం వలన అంతా irreligion spread అవుతుంది.
Irreligion will be spread actually because of not seeing the bad and good. So powerful people will dominate whatever they want to do, they will do, and finally irreligion will be spread. Yes, okay, very good. Yeah. So we'll be seeing Uddhava is also not so happy after hearing this Krishna statement. Not seeing the good and bad is the good. And also, but what is the understanding we made actually in that yesterday's class? Not seeing the good and bad means in the Bhakti Sandarbha, seeing the transcendental qualities. What we discussed from the Bhakti Sandarbha? Not seeing the good and bad is good. We discussed this in the Bhakti Sandarbha also. Bhakti Sandarbha students, please tell. Not seeing the good and bad is good. How we have taken this in our Bhakti Sandarbha discussions? Anyway, you are all Bhakti Sandarbha students because some are old, some are new, but everyone knows that. Any idea? Not seeing good and bad and is good actually. When? How to interpret this in the context of devotion?
See the good qualities in the devotees.
Then that is also bad. Seeing good qualities is also. How we discussed, you remember? Not seeing the good and bad is really encouraged by in the process of devotion. Why? In the context of Ananya Bhakti. Can anyone tell? Why we should not see good and bad? So yeah, we should not see good and bad. Okay, why? Fine. Yes, Krishna is saying that is true. We should not see good and bad. That's true. Why? If you don't see good and bad, then how? That means one may say, that means if you don't see good and bad, then how you will follow four regulative principles? Why you have four regulative principles then? Then as a devotee, if you don't see good and bad, then you eat whatever is coming. Then so you drink whatever is coming. You do whatever you like, whatever is that means is done is okay. Why you have to keep the four regulative principles, this and that? Then there is no need of four regulative principles. Yes or no? You are following four regulative principles means you are rejecting something and you are accepting something. You are seeing something good and something is not bad. Something is not good, something is not bad. Or something is good and something is bad. Like that you are seeing. So for a practitioner, devotee, so four regulative principles we are following. That means we are seeing the good and bad. So, but how Krishna is saying not to see the good and bad? Then if you don't see good and bad, then you should not follow four regulative also. No need to follow. So भूल गए हाँ साहब आकाशात पतितं तोयं सागरं प्रति गच्छति सब भूल गए हाँ tell
Good
me.
and bad, see, we can see there is a particular person to see the good and bad of the devotees.
Ah.
There's a particular person. Particular person means, see, those who are in management level, you can say that, okay, it is the responsibility to take the devotees good and bad. But being a junior, if he try to see the good and bad in others, then he will commit offense because he will see bad in as a good and he will see good as a bad because of his is in the mood.
But he didn't say for the juniors.
Now, what I'm saying that, see, as a follower, as a we are following the
No,
following
you apply for everyone, all the devotees.
Hmm.
This statement for everyone actually.
Hmm.
Why? That means, what is the intention actually? Not seeing the good and bad. Not seeing the good and bad is gunaha. So what it mean? You should see this. Seeing good and bad is bad. This is another statement. How to interpret these statements in the terms of, in the context of, or in the case of Ananya Bhakti? Ananya Bhakti, yes, spontaneous, let's say it is a pure devotional service, Ananya Bhakti. So what is the funda? Funda is, this is Jivatma and this is the Lord, and this relationship between the Jiva and the Lord is eternal, it's a fact. And Ananya Bhakti, purely devotion to him, is what? Is completely full of sweetness. Is full of sweetness. It's full of sweetness. So that's why Jivatma, if it get, what is the job of the Jivatma? Natural job. So natural job of Jivatma is getting attraction to this kind of so devotion actually. Devotion is completely is what? Is full of sweetness. And if this Jivatma is getting the naturally attraction to this kind of pure devotion towards the Lord, then that is good. That means Jivatma is doing the Ananya Bhakti towards the Lord because of what? Its natural attraction to devotion. It's natural. Here, in this case, Jivatma is doing Ananya Bhakti due to its natural attraction to devotion. Because devotion itself is full of sweetness. That's why that attraction, if this Jivatma is getting, then it is, yeah, good. But Jivatma, and take another case. Jivatma is doing the, so Ananya Bhakti, purely devotion, out of seeing the, after seeing the good and bad. That means after doing the deliberating on this is good and this is bad. That means being a Jivatma, so I should not do this, and I should do this, and I should not do this, I should do this. So after doing that kind of vichara, so then it is doing the Ananya Bhakti. Then it is bad means relative to this case. This is the case 1 and this is the case 2. Relative to the case 1, case 2 is inferior. So getting the spontaneous, that means natural, not spontaneous, natural attraction towards the devotion is the good. So like this we have interpreted actually. So seeing good and bad is not good, and not seeing good and bad is good. So that means in this whole nature, every Jivatma, so irrespective of the good and bad, it should get the natural attraction towards the devotion, and it should be engaged in this, in that. It should not be engaged in, so it's not seeing good and bad is not the duty of the Jivatma. The natural position, constitutional position of the Jivatma is what? Getting the natural attraction towards the devotion, where there is no point of seeing the good and bad. So that's why Krishna is saying, yes, hey Uddhav, why you are spending so much time and why you are engaging me of discussing this good and bad. So, but in the case of the Jnanis, what they will do? They will be trying to get the, so Jnana, actually in the Jnana Yoga, they will be practicing the various good activities. Why they are practicing? Because of goodness, they are going to Sattva Sanjayate Jnanam. To get the Atma Jnanam and Brahma Jnanam, they should practice good activities. There is a need of practicing the good activities. So that's why they, Jnanis, so they are trying to get the ultimate absolute truth. That means the Brahman by practicing good activities, which is so cheap actually. Because here Jivatma is not functioning based upon its natural constitutional position. What is the constitutional position of the Jivatma? Getting the natural attraction towards the Ananya Bhakti is the constitutional position of the Jivatma. So here that is not done actually. So Krishna will not like this. What is this? What is this? So seeing good and bad, and then after that you are so cultivating goodness and reaching the Brahman. What is this? Or otherwise, after Vichara Pradhana Bhakti is not superior to the Ruchi Pradhana Bhakti. This is the Ruchi Pradhana Bhakti. And this is Vichara Pradhana Bhakti. That means if you get the natural attraction towards the doing this direct devotion, pure devotion to the Lord. Pure devotion means 24 hours. Pure devotion means you should always remember it is 24 hours. So if you are engaged in these activities, then that is well and good, na? No need to follow the 4 regs, because you are always engaged in pure devotion. So whoever is following the 4 regs and then doing the devotion, these are all, is it really highest stage? It's not highest stage actually. So you are trying to suppress yourself from the some abnormal activities, and after that, so that means these are all following the 4 regs is also actually what is a vigna, actually is a vigna to the to practice Ananya Bhakti. In the Ananya Bhakti stage, that means in the pure devotion, that's why it will never come under the pure devotion. So did he, Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, Rupa Goswami, anywhere did he discuss about the following the 4 regs? Is there anywhere is there? It's not there. You can, it's not at all a bhakti also. Because why? If you see, once if you get the full shraddha in the bhakti, then is there any need of practicing the jnana? Is there any pre-need? Practicing the 4 regs is nothing but comes under what? Jnana. It's not the, that means you should have full shraddha in the Lord and you do this. So, yes. But why we are not in that kind of shraddha? So that's why we have to regulate. That is nothing but the varnashram system. Following 4 regulations is nothing but what? Following the varnashram dharma. The rules and regulations of the varna and ashram. That's a common lifestyle of the human being. That means what are it? That is 30 qualities has to be so followed by the human beings, and that so these 4 regs it also comes under that. This is a making one as a human being. Yeah. Jnana can be door or not the part of the Ananya Bhakti. It's not the, yeah.
One is spontaneous to the devotional service. One doesn't bother about the 4 regulatory principles. Because he
it's not-
follows it automatically.
Yes. Because he's always 24 hours engaged.
He doesn't have time to think about the 4 regulatory
Yeah,
principles.
it will become this kind of practicing jnana will become the vigna to the Ananya Bhakti. So, but the social, that means, so till one doesn't develop the full shraddha, so his life has to be regulated. Otherwise, if it is not regulated with the regulatory principles, following regulatory principles, then he will be associating rajas and tamas. Then he will be in the great suffering actually. Then he will be always is affected by the rajas and tamas. He cannot do this sadhana, basic sadhanas. That's very difficult. So that's why Prabhupada is saying, so all the whatever work is not defined by the Vedas is cheating actually. So 4 regs means, so avoiding, that means violating the lifestyle given by the Vedas. There is no point, that means in that system, in the devotions, there is no varnashram, we are following Ananya Bhakti. Then you should not follow the Ananya Bhakti means you should not follow the 4 regs also. You should not think about that. Not follow means that should happen automatically. Yes? Siddha Sarup Prabhu, what do you say? So let us see the 20th chapter. Sri Uddhava Uvacha. So, okay, we'll together. Vidischa pratishedascha nigamo hishwarasya te avekshate ravindaksha gunam dosham cha karmanam.
Shuddhava said, my dear lotus site Krishna, you are the Supreme Lord, and thus the Vedic literacies, consisting of positive and negative injunctions, constitute your order. Such literature focus upon the good and bad qualities of work.
Okay, bro. Vishwanath will take, read. Vishwanath ka acha hai bahut. Actually, in this first chapter summary, we'll see. Vimshe yogatrayam proktam bhakti jnana kriyatmakam. So, guna dosha vyavasthartham adhikari vibhagata. So, in this 20th chapter, we are going to see the bhakti jnana kriya means here karma. So, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and karma yoga. So, these 3 yogas, yogatraya means these 3 yogas, and their so eligibility. So we'll be going to see. Yeah. Adhikari Vibhagata. Jnana karma bhaktischa vimshe sadhu nirupite tatra adhikari cha. So gunadosha. Through the gunadosha only we are going to, yeah. in ultimate stage, yeah, this is right. Actually, there is no need to see that's not seeing the good and bad is good. That is ultimate. But we should use the gunadosha vyavastha. That means seeing the good and bad is also needed to find the eligibility for these three yogas: karma yoga, so gnana yoga, and bhakti yoga. These three yogas are there. So if you want to find the eligibility, so you need to have the classification, or otherwise the vision of seeing the good and bad. Otherwise, how we can decide? So that's why Uddhava is going to ask several questions. You said that not to see good and bad, but so we need that. So then Krishna explains, yes. So how to utilize this seeing good and bad. So to decide the eligibility for these three yogas. So like that discussion will go on. So first of all, Uddhava's statements will be seeing. Uddhava is saying what? Vidischa pratishedascha negamo hi ishwarasya te avekshate ravindaksha gunam dosham cha karmanam. O Aravindaksha, so my dear lotus side Krishna, you are the supreme Lord. And thus the Vedic literature consisting of positive and negative injunctions. That means do's and don'ts. That means Nishiddha karma is there, and also so prescribed duties. That means Kamya karma, Nitya karma, ityadi also there. So consider that is Vedas are nothing but what? Your order only. You are now saying in the last minute. So not seeing good and bad is good, but Vedas are nothing but your voice, your order, and there you have given that means injunctions of so good and that means do's and don'ts injunctions. So do positive injunctions and negative injunctions. That means do's and don'ts you only give. So that means do's and don'ts are based upon what? Good and bad only, na? So then why you give that full Vedas? Then whole Vedas we should not follow, huh? So that is the intention actually. Uddhava's intention. Uddhava is asking question like that, huh? So then why in this much elaborate descriptions are there about the various karmas? That means good karmas and bad karmas. What is this? So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Gunadosha drishir dosho gunastu ubhaya varjita iti yaduktam tasya bhagavad abhipretam artham sahasa janannapi tanmukhenaiva tasya vivaranam nanartha vishesha sahitam srotu kamaha tatra viprapadyamanah iva aha. Like an unknown person. Uddhava is asking like an unknown person. He knows, Uddhava knows that what is the intention of saying, not saying good and bad is good. He knows that, but he wants to hear the explanation of this from the mouth of Lord himself, from the mouth of the Lord. And also he wants to know, is there many meanings are there behind this? He wants to know that. So that's why he is acting like a not knowing person, unknower. So, and that's why he's asking this question. That means this point he is putting forward. So Uddhava is putting forward this present sloka. So what is the meaning of this? Vidischa pratishedascha. That means vidischa means injunctions, or pratisheda means so that is positive injunctions. Vidhi pratisheda means prohibitive injunctions, negative injunctions. So ishwarasya tava negamaha. That means these are all your negamaha means agna rupaha vedaha eva. So positive injunctions or negative injunctions are nothing but the Vedas. Your order, nothing but those are all your order, nothing but Vedas. Eva tatra vidhi videyanam karmanam. So gunam avekshate, pratishedanam karmanam dosham avekshate. That means vidhi means positive injunctions. Those are all known as guna, and negative injunctions are all known as dosha. So अवेक्षते प्रतिपादयति इत्यर्थः विधि निषेधाभ्यामेव गुणदोषो पुण्य पापे न. So that's why do's, if you do the positive activities which are set by that means injunctions, positive injunctions, if you follow, then you'll be getting the punyam. What is the intention of saying the positive injunctions? To gain the punyam. And negative, if you follow negative injunctions, you'll be getting the papam. So this punyam and papam are Gunadosho means punya papam. You can say gunadosho. Another meaning for the gunadosha, punya. Guna means punya, dosha means papa. So these only are happening. This is happening. Iti yavat tatha. Next sloka is coming. Varnashram vikalpam chani. So we'll be seeing that. Second sloka also we'll read and then we'll continue the commentary. So that means ultimately what he is saying, in the Vedas, these are given by you. That means these are all nothing but your order, which are, that means positive and negative injunctions are cause for the so piety and the sin. So Gunadosha is already there in that Vedas. So how can you say? The intention is, how can you say that one should not see the Gunadosha? वर्णाश्रम विकल्पम च प्रतिलोमानुलोमजं द्रव्य देशावयः कालान् स्वर्गं नरकमेव च.
According to Vedic literature, the superior and inferior varieties found in the human social system, varnashrama, are due to pious and sinful modes of family planning. Thus, pious and sin are constant points of reference in the Vedic analysis of the components of a given situation, namely the material ingredients, place, age, and time. Indeed, the Vedas reveal the existence of material heaven and hell, which are certainly based on piety and sin.
Actually, maybe our new students may be thinking they are not seeing the purports, but actually, so it's understood that we are going syllabus with the rapid speed. So purports they read self-study. Okay, they otherwise that's the reason.
Nicely, the purport is included.
Purport is same actually. It's included actually. Everything is covered up once already in the purport, because our these so followers of Bhakti Vedanta. So these BBT members, humble servants of Bhakti Vedanta, that's AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami, they are all following the commentaries only as it is and writing. So that's why by seeing the commentary, understanding, everything is covered there itself. So that's why. So that's why in the second point, in the second sloka, what he is saying, Yavat Tatha Varnanam Ashramanam cha Vikalpam Bhedam cha so Tadgatam Gunam Dosham cha Aveksheta. So Pratilomānulomajam Tadgatam cha Gunadosham Pratilomajaha Uttama Varneshu Strishu Hina Varnebhyaha Purushebhyaha Jataha Suta Deha Kadaya. So Anulomajaha Uttama Varneshu Hina Varnasu Jataha Ambha Ambashtaka Ashtakarnadaya. So Yadigatamsya Gunadoshan Swarga Naraka Rupamcha Gunadosham. So Gunadosha is now is said as Swarga Narakam. That means Punya Papam, Gunadosham is nothing but Punya Pap. So that's why, and also in the Vedas, what is, even in the society we are having the Varnas. That means he is this Varna means you are seeing the good and bad only, na? How Varnas are classified. So one are in the goodness, they are the Brahmanas, one are in the so passion, they are in the Kshatriya, like that. You have seen so good and bad, then only you divided the society. So that is the thing, and also we have so Anuloma and Pratiloma. This kind of Vyavahara is also there. Anuloma and Pratiloma. Pratiloma means so Pratiloma, if someone is getting, that means Uttama Jati is 3. So and a person is male is from the lower caste. So lower caste male is getting the children from a higher caste woman. Then that offsprings are coming under which category? Pratiloma. And so higher caste male and lower caste woman. So from there, so Anuloma. So the offsprings are known as Anuloma. So this is also what Uttama, that means Adama, like that. That means that kind of Vyavahara is there. Uddhava's point is this only. He is giving the various arguments to prove that we are seeing the Gunadosha. That's why we have the that means usage of Swarga Naraka and also Swarga and Naraka. So that's the point he is saying. Varnanam Ashramanam cha Vikalpam Bhedam cha. There is a categories are there. Bhedam is there means categories are there means you are seeing the Guna and Dosha. Varnashram Vikalpam cha Pratilomanulomajam Dravya Desha Vayah Kalan. And also you have the so Dravya Desha Kala Vayah Kala. That means all these are also considered good and bad. Good time, good, it's not good time. So it's good place, it's not good place, it's good Dravya and it's not good, good and it's not good. Like that we have completely. So this kind of usage. Then how can you say, my dear Krishna, seeing good and bad is not good? Next. Gunadosha Gunadosha drishtim antarena vachastava nishreyasam katham runam nishedha vidhi lakshanam.
Without seeing the difference between piety and sin, how can one understand your own instructions in the form of Vedic literatures, which order one to act piously and forbid one to act sinfully? Furthermore, without such authorized Vedic literatures, which ultimately avoid liberation, how can human being achieve the perfection of life?
Yes. So within Vidhi Pratisheda, so now he is coming to the main point ultimately. So what is that? Tathapi prastute kim ayatam atah aha guneti. Nisheda vidhi lakshanam vachah tava veda rupam vakyam gunadosha vidadrishtim antarena vina ayam vihitatvad gunaha ayam nishiddhatad dosha iti ya veda drishtihi tam vina katam nishresham nishreshkaram syat. So what now finally is saying in the third sloka? So my dear Krishna, so without seeing the good and bad, so Vedas are nothing but your agna, that means your order. So in that order, so while following that order, if you don't see good and bad, so that means this should be done, this should not be done. How will you decide? We'll be deciding that based upon the good and bad only. So good will be resulting the piety, bad will be resulting the sin, good will be resulting the swarga, bad will be resulting into the naraka, hell. So based upon seeing the good and bad only, we are trying to understand and following your instructions. So if I don't see, then like that, finally one is able to get the nishreyasam. That means he'll be getting the ultimate result. That means ultimate goodness, ultimate good. That's a nishreyas karam syat. So that means how one can progress then. If you don't see the good and bad, how can reach the ultimate one? How one can reach to the ultimate? So it is needed to reach ultimate. One should see good and bad. So otherwise, so Veda's purpose also will not be solved. So Veda's purpose also is not solved. So katam nishreyasam nishreyasa karam syat. That means without seeing the good and bad, that means sin and piety, piety and sin, we cannot understand the instructions of the Lord, which are nothing but the Vedic literature. So that's why furthermore, so such a authorized Vedic literature which ultimately award liberation, how can human beings achieve the perfection of life? So then how one can get the perfection of life without seeing good and bad? So this is the next. Pitrudeva manushyanam vedas chakshustaveshwara shreyastvanupalabderte sadhya sadhana yorapi.
My dear Lord, to understand those things beyond direct experience, such as spiritual liberation or the attainment of heaven and similar material enjoyments, and in general to understand the means and an end of all things, it is imperative that the forefathers, demigods, and human beings consult the Vedic literature. For this literature, being your own laws, constitute the highest evidence and revelation.
Yeah. So na kevalam manushanameva vedaha nishreyskaraha apitu deva pitrunam api. These Vedas are beneficial for not only for the, so they are bestowing the ultimate perfection not only for the human beings but for also devas and pitrus. So devatas and also pitrujanas. So pitru, that's is said here, pitru deveti. So veda eva tava shreyaha shreshtam chakshur gnana hetuhu kaha anupalabdhe arthe moksha swargadau cha tatha sadhya sadhanu idam asya, so sadhyam idam asya sadhanam ityatrapi. So that's why seeing good and bad is important, so that for this sadhana this is the sadhya, and for getting this sadhya this is the sadhana. So that kind of discrimination, that kind of ability power we are getting, anupalabdhi, that kind of understanding we are getting by seeing the good and bad. So my dear Lord, in order to understand those things beyond direct experience, such as spiritual liberation or attainment of heaven and other material enjoyment beyond our present capacity, so and in general to understand the means and end of all things, the forefathers, demigods, and human beings must consult Vedic literature. So he also saying one should, that's why if you don't see good and bad, you cannot utilize, you cannot use the Vedas properly. There is no point in Vedas actually. If you don't see the good and bad. So ultimately, through seeing the good and bad only, you are able to do the you are able to understand the injunctions of the Vedas properly, so that you are going to get the ultimate perfection of the life. But if you don't see that good and bad, then Vedas are not useful. And even Vedas are useful for the demigods and also for the Pitru Devatas. And they will also not get any, they also consult the Vedas to progress in their life. So then what is even they will also not get any benefit, which are your own laws. For these constitute the highest evidence and revelation. So that's why Vedas are the highest revelation, are the highest. So yeah, the authority of the authority. So that's why if you don't see good and bad, Vedas are becoming useless. That's the point. Gunadosha bida drushtir nigamate nahi swataha nigamena pavadascha bidaya itiha brahma.
My dear Lord, the distinction observed between piety and sin comes from your own Vedic knowledge and doesn't arise by itself. If the same Vedic literature subsequently nullifies such distinction between piety and sin, there will certainly be confusion.
Yeah. So let's say Vedas are, if they are going to nullify the good and bad, actually good and bad is decided by whom? Vedas only, na? So if those only nullify this, so then what will happen? There is everywhere there is only illusion, confusion. So what should I do? What should I should not do? So that kind of, so intelligence will not be there, fully confused. So this is the fifth sloka. That means 5 slokas is using. So nigamatvad agna rupad vedad eva vidinishedhatmakad gunadosha beda drishtir vihita. So guna beda drishti, that means the good and bad vision is given by whom? By the Vedas. So nigamena adyantanya tad agnaya abid. It's a spelling mistake here. Adyatanaya. Adyatanya is given here. Adyatana is there? No. Adyatanya is. Adyatanya. So the Agnaya Abhidaya Gunadosha Beda Drushte Apavadaha Cha Iti. So Aspashtam Abhipraya Nishchaya Asamardhyat Me Brahma Abhut. So Tam Tvameva Nivartayeta. So Gunabeda Drushti Nigamate Nahi Swataha. Whatever the Gunabeda Drushti, that means the vision of seeing good and bad. The vision of seeing good and bad. So the vision of good and bad. So the vision of good and bad is given by whom? Is given by the Vedas. Okay, that is the first statement. Is in Gunadosha Bida Drushtir Negamate Nahi Swataha. It is not by, so it is independent. It's self. It's not by self. Not arise by itself. If the same Vedic literature subsequent, that means Negamena Apavadascha. Negamena Apavadascha means by Vedas, if this good and bad is nullified, Apavada means nullification. So by the Vedas, if this good and bad is nullified, then what? There is confusion. There is Brahma. There is Brahma. Negamena Adyatanya Tad Agnaya Abhidaya Vidayah actually. So Vidayah means guna dosha beda drushtehe apavadaha cha. Tad agnaya vidayah. Vidayah means so it's differing na actually then. If Vedas are giving the so good and bad, that means that kind of vision they are giving. And now you are saying not to see the good and bad. That means it is going the differing with you. Yes or no? Vedas are differing with you. This is the first problem. And so Vidayaha means so differing with the Lord, with the Lord's order. Tad Agnaya Vidayaha. So Gunabeda Drushtehe Apavadascha means Aspashtam Abhipraya Sanishchaya Asamadhyat. So Aspashtam means Abhipraya Nischaya Asamadhyam. That means ultimately Uddhava is not able to understand. That means what is the intention. So his statement, that means Vedas are differing. And once again, if Nigama is also is going to Nigamena Apavadascha, if Nigama is Vedas are going to nullify this good and bad, so then what will happen? That is completely, so it is leading to the confusion. Tad Agnaya Vidayaha Gunadesha Bheda Drushtehe Apavadascha iti Aspashtam Abhipraya Nischaya Asamardyat Me Brahma Abhut. So that means Uddhava is getting the confusion actually. So you are saying one should not see, but we know that Vedas are giving the Gunabheda, vision of the so good and bad. So how that means, so Vedas are telling, that means going against to you. So what is this? This is completely is giving a confusion to me actually. So me Brahma Abhut tam tvameva nivattayata iti bhava. You only has to so remove this confusion. I am not able to understand abhipraya nischaya asamardhyat. That means what is your opinion that I am not able to understand. If the same Vedic literature subsequently nullifies such distinction between piety and, there will be certainly be confusion. That means here confusion for whom? Uddhava. Uddhava is getting the confusion. आप ऐसा बोल रहे हैं और वेद ऐसा कह रहे हैं, दोनों में क्या इतना अंतर क्यों आया? ये क्या है एक्चुअली? आपको उद्देश्य क्या है? ये पॉइंट एक्चुअली. ममा ब्रह्म अभूत, मेरा ब्रह्म हो रहा है. Why? Nischaya asamardhyat. I am not able to understand abhipraya nischaya. That means as your intention, I am not able to understand properly. This is Vishwanath Prabhu. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Vedai sarvai rahameva vedya. By all Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I know the Vedas it is. Vedic knowledge emanates from the breathing of personality of Godhead. Therefore, whatever Lord Krishna speaks is Veda or perfect knowledge. Vedic literature are full of descriptions of piety and perfect sin. But Lord Krishna's statement that one should transcend piety and sin is also to be understood as Vedic knowledge. Sri Uddhava has understood this point and therefore requests Lord Krishna to clear up an apparent contradiction. Ultimately, the material world gives the living entities a chance to satisfy their perverted desire at the same time gradually achieves the liberation of going back home, back to Godhead. Thus, material piety must be considered a mean and never an absolute end, since the material world itself is not absolute, being temporarily and limited. The personality of Godhead is Himself the reservoir of all virtue and goodness. Those persons and activities that please the Lord are to be considered virtuous, and those displease Him are to be considered sinful. There cannot be any further permanent definition of these terms. If one becomes a mundane, okay, they are giving the commentary. Okay, so ultimately Uddhava is getting the confusion and he is asking. So please clarify on this. So why this difference is there between your statement and the Vedas? So then what is that? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Yogastrayo Maya Prokta Nrunam Sreyo Viditsaya Gnanam Karma Cha Bhaktischa Nopayonyosti Kutrachit.
The Supreme Personality of God is said, my dear Uddhava, because I desire that human beings may achieve perfection, I have presented three paths of advancement: the path of knowledge, the path of work, the path of devotion. Beside these three, there is absolutely no other means of elevation.
Yeah. Adhikari Bedena, Avastha Bedena, Gunadesha Beda Drishtir Vitattu Nishidattuncha Yatha Yogam Bhavet Iti Tadgnapayitumaha. So that's why Gunadosha Drishti is needed for someone, Gunadosha Drishti is not needed for someone. It is prescribed for someone and it is not prescribed for someone. That means Guna Beda Drishti, Gunadosha Beda Drishti is, Drishti means, so vision of the good and bad, guna and dosha. Vision of good and dosha, that means good and bad. So is recommended for someone. It is not recommended for some other one. So based upon that, we are going to see yogas three types. Gunabheda Drishti is recommended for whom? Gunabheda Drishti is recommended for karmis, karma yogis. Gunabheda Drishti is not recommended for so other two. We'll be seeing anyway. Gunabheda Drishtehe Vihitatvam Nishidatvam cha Yatha Yogam Bhavet iti Tasgnapayatum aha. So that means Gunabheda Drishti is, that's why there is subtle difference there. In the Karmakanda section, you'll be seeing Gunabheda Drishti. That means for the in the case of whenever one is in the platform of is not practicing any yoga, that means either gnana or this is leading to our main diagram actually. From here only it is starting. Until unless one is not entering into either this path or this path, so they need to have the guna dosha drishti. Guna dosha drishti. They need to have. Vihitattu. That means this guna dosha drishti, vision of good and bad, is recommended for someone and it is not recommended for someone. So based upon that, we are going to see the yoga is three types. That we'll discuss anyway very clearly. It is in the coming Gunabheda Yogaha Upayaha Brahma Karma Devata Kandaihi Proktaha. So total yogas, these three yogas are said by the three different kandas. Brahma Karma Devata Kandai Proktaha Sreyamsi Moksha Trivarga Premani. So what is that? Three kandas. In Vedas, how many kandas are there? Three are there. Three kandas and three yogas. So what is that? Brahma Kanda. Brahma Kanda means? Karma Kanda. Devata Kanda. Is for the What is the result? Karmakanda, Swargaha. Prema. Brahmakanda कहाँ से आया? Brahmakanda is Upanishads. Jnanakanda. Brahmakanda means Jnanakanda. So Devata means worshipping Krishna. Everything. Yes, sir. Prema is the मोक्ष त्रिवर्ग प्रेमाणि तेषां विदित्स्येत मे सर्वत्र कृप एव इति मे सर्वत्र कृप एव इति भावः नान्यम्. That's why Odir my Arjuna actually sorry Uddhava's main problem is what with Vedas only na. He is saying that by seeing the guna dosha, by not seeing the guna dosha, he is saying that Vedas are so meaningless. If you don't see guna dosha, Vedas are meaningless. So that means Krishna is saying not to see good and bad, and Uddhava is saying that if you don't see good and bad, Vedas are meaningless. So both are actually true. Both are true. So how? Yeah, in one sense, yeah, seeing good and bad is needed in one place of the Vedas. In another place of Vedas, so seeing good and bad is not needed. So that's why you cannot generalize. That means Uddhava is presenting his question as an ignorant person. So he is just considering the Karmakanda section and he is presenting his point actually. So not seeing good and bad will be leading to the useless. That means so no use of the Vedas. So but Krishna is saying in another sense, Ananya Bhakti. When you do Ananya Bhakti, there is no need of, for Bhakti, there is no need of seeing the good and bad. So his point is also right. So that we are going to see. That's why to reconcile these two statements, now here Krishna is starting with the divisions of the Vedas. Don't see everything as a one, all the Vedas. But Vedas are having the different sections. And they are leading to the different results. First of all, first to come to this, then yes, we'll understand that. So seeing good and bad is meant for whom? Not seeing good and bad is meant for whom? That we'll understand. First, see the divisions of the Vedas. Based upon the divisions of the Vedas, also we have 3 yogas. Divisions of the Vedas, 3 yogas are there. योगाः उपायाः ब्रह्म कर्म देवता कांडैः प्रोक्ताः श्रेयांसि मोक्ष त्रिवर्ग प्रेमाणि. So actually karma kanda is trivarga. Trivarga means dharma, artha, kama. This you will get. Swarga is only not one. Trivarga. Doing the dharma, getting the artha, giving the artha, and artha lead to the sense gratification. Kama. That can be swarga also, many. So that's why trivarga premani tesham viditsyet. So these are all prescribed This is my mercy, my dear Uddhava. These are mercy. I am prescribed by the Vedas. These three things. I am prescribing by the Vedas. These three things. These three khandas are there by those three khandas. So these three things I am prescribing. This is my mercy. First, he is beginning from here to answer him. Na anyam etat trayam vina. So, hey, Uddhav, nothing is there apart from these three. Na anyat. What is saying? Na upayah anyah asti kutrachit. In Vedas, apart from these three yogas, three khandas, is there any one more khanda? There is no khanda. So that's why, how many yogas are there? Three only yogas. And then what about, so Ashtanga yoga, Sankhya yoga, Gnana yoga, not Gnana, Gnana yoga is over. So Ashtanga yoga, Sankhya yoga, or the Dana, Tapa, Vrata, these, that. All these are all there, many yogas. So why, that means, why we have to accept these three yogas only mainly? The reason is this. So karma, gnana and bhakti. This only in Bhagavad Gita also you see. So majorly you can divide Bhagavad Gita into three. Karma. So first 6 chapters telling about karma, karma yoga. Middle 6 bhakti, and last gnana. Same. Krishna is saying there also same thing. Only three yogas. Because three khandas are there. Three khandas are leading to three different results. So that's even, yeah, Jiva Goswami's commentary also will see on this, because that is discussed in the Bhakti Sandarbha also. Just quickly we'll see that also. Na anyam etat trayam vina anyaha tapah yagadikah tapo ashtanga adehe yatha sambhavam gnana bhaktyo hoyo avantar bhava darshanad iti bhava. That means if you ask then as Ashtanga yoga is there, Prabhu, and also Tapa yoga, tapas is there, so and so are there. We say that all also they will fall under either the Gnana yoga or otherwise Bhakti yoga. So that's why we don't need to consider those things as separately. So that's why in our diagram, how many are there? 2 only. In our diagram. So how many you need? So 2 only. Why we took 2 majorly? This is the purpose. We took one path. This is another, and one is entry door. Anyway, we are going to see that. That is entry door is karma. Okay, so that's why in this diagram, why this having the 2 only? This is the reason. 2 means actually 3 circles. Actually 3 paths. This is 2 paths and 1 entry door. Okay, this. Many you can see, that means other things are subdivisions of this path. That also we'll see anyway. Now Jiva Goswami, what he is saying? 6th sloka na. Tikayam visha bhedepi purvokta punya papadi rupanam abheda vedepi ityartha. Adhikari bhede neti karmadi sadhakan prati bhava gunadoshaha varnitaha parmasiddhan prati gunadosha drishir doshaha ityanenekah eva iti bhava. So see, here Swamiji, his interpretation, Jiva Goswami is saying, another Swamiji, what he is saying? Adhikari bhedena, based upon the adhikara, gunadosha is prescribed. Seeing gunadosha is good for, is meant for someone, and seeing gunadosha, that means is not meant for someone. Seeing gunadosha is meant for whom? Seeing gunadosha is prescribed to whom? Karma sadhakas, karmadi sadhakan prati. That's karma sadhakas. You are practicing karma for them. So bahava gunadoshaha varnitaha. So that's why whoever is practicing karma, the practitioner. Niche jaake pen le jao. Pen. ये खत्म हो गया. अरे इधर है क्या? इकड़ इकड़ చూడు పోలో లాగేసింది అయితే అని అడిగిల్లి. So what he is saying, so seeing gunadosha is for the karma sadhakas who are practicing karma. For them gunadosha is needed, seeing gunadosha. So karma sadhaka. But for the who are siddhas, what he said next, paramasiddhan prati. So paramasiddhas, they don't see any for them, so they don't see any good and bad. So whoever is reaching to the highest stage, prema anjanachuri, whoever reaching the prema, here also here paramasiddhas are here. गर्म हो गए. So Jivan Mukta will see any Gunadosha. Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. He he'll see everywhere Abhishta Devata. That is either Krishna, whatever. Everywhere in all the living, in every, you see every living entity as Uttamadhikari Lakshana. According to Manasalinga, what we said. So Uttamadhikari see everything is the body of Hari. Not Hari, Ishta Devata. So they don't see any dosha. They don't see. So that's why for them Gunadosha is not prescribed. That means Vedas are not saying that for Siddha Santa should see the Gunadosha. No. This is the Bhava. Yadva akinchanakhyayaha eva bhaktehe sarvordhva bhumika vastitattvam adhikari vishesha nishtitvam cha darshayitum prakyanantara. Otherwise, you can take this. We are going to establish Ananya Bhakti. So for this purpose, so Krishna is going to explain these three yogas like that Sridhar Jiva Goswami is giving. This is another type of prakriya. This is a method. In the Bhakti Sandarbhas, if you remember, we are going to discuss this another prakriya. 172 Anucheda. You can see. We are approaching another. Before that, we established Ananya Bhakti based upon the various other factors. And to establish Ananya Bhakti once again, so we went to this approach. There are the three yogas. One is Gnana, another is Bhakti, another is the Karma. So this kind of approach. So this approach, whatever is being explained now, so in future, so that is going to that is really useful for establishing the Ananya Bhakti. Sarva urdhatva bhumika vastitatvam. Sarvordhva bhumika vastitatvam. So it is going to take the role of, that means, so the topmost role. So that's to who Ananya Bhakti. For this purpose, he is going to explain these three yogas. This is Sridhar Jiva Goswami's explanation. Prakriyanantaram tatra paratatvasya vaimukya pariharaya yatha katanchit samukya matram kartavyattvena labhyate tacha tridha nirvishesha rupasya tadiya brahmakya virbhavasya gnana rupam savishesha rupasya cha tadiya bhagavadakya avirbhavasya bhakti rupam iti dvayam tritiyam cha tasya dvayasya dvaram karmarpana rupam iti tadyetat trayam purusha yogyata bhedena vyavasthapayitum loke samanyatah gnana karma bhakti nameva upayatvam na anyesham iti anuvadati yogastrayah. What is the intention of saying the yogastrayah, three yogas? So that is being explained by the Jiva Goswami like this. What he is saying, Jiva Goswami is saying, the Jivatma, which is from the beginningless, it is away from the Lord. So for that Jivatma to get this Samukyam, so that Jivatma to get this Samukyam, so what is recommended? So these three things are recommended. Talabhyate tacha tritha. So that Samukyam available in how many ways? 3 ways. Samukyam is available in 3 ways. So what are those? First two are, one is Nirvishesha Rupasya Tadiya Brahmakyavirbhavasya Gnana Rupam. Samukyam is 3 ways. Yogastrayaha, Krishna said, what is the meaning of, what is the explanation we are seeing based upon this? So Jiva Goswami, so why 3 yogas are said? Because Jivatma from the beginningless, so away from the Lord, so for that turning towards the Lord is known as Samukyam. So that Samukyam can be how many types? 3 types. Samukyam is 3 types. So what are those 3 types? So one is, so first one is, so Gnanam. So this Gnana Samukyam gives what? Brahman. So that's why you take this Gnanam, this is. So now that's why you need to have. That means in whole world we have only 3 methods only. This is Pakka. This diagram, that's why you need to have this much only. And one is Gnana Samukyam. So that's why it is Gnana Samukyam. That means it is connecting Jivatma, Gnana Samukyam to what? Brahman. So that's why Gnana Samukyam. So by following in this path of Gnana, you will be getting Brahman. Similarly, another is Bhakti Samukyam. Another Samukyam is what? Bhakti Samukyam. So Kartavyatyan Nirvishesha Rupasya Tadiya Brahmakya Avirbhavasya Gnana Rupam Savishesha Rupasya Cha Tadiya Bhagavadakya Avirbhavasya Bhakti Rupam. So this is Bhakti Rupam Samukyam. This is Bhakti. This is Bhakti. In the Bhakti Samukyam, it is going to cause for the, so this is a Nirvishesha Brahman. Nirvishesha Brahman. Jnana Samukyam cause for the realization of absolute truth in the form of Nirvishesha, and this is Savishesha. Bhakti is cause for realizing absolute truth with Visheshas. This. And Tayoho, that means these 2 paths are there, 2 Samukyams are there. So Tayoho Tritiyam cha Dvayasya Tasya Dvayasya Dwaram. This is Dwaram. This is entry. Yeah, karma. Karma is Dwara. Dwara, not karma, karmarpanam. Simple karma, no. So that's why you should make it as karmarpanam. Karmarpanam is the entry for these 2. Okay. Iti etad trayam Purusha Yogyata Vedana. That means these 3 are the Samukyam. Karmarpanam, Gnanam and Bhakti. These 3 are the Samukyam. But who should do what? That is, who should follow what? That is depends upon the Yogyata. So there is a eligibility. Eligibility criteria is there for this also. This also having the eligibility criteria, and this also having the eligibility criteria. So if someone is satisfying the eligibility criteria for this, then they can do this. Otherwise this, or otherwise this. Okay. So Purusha Yogyata Vedena. So Vyavasthapayitum Loke Samanyatah. So Gnana Karma Bhakti Nameva yogyatvam. In general say gnana karma and bhakti. In general they say gnana karma. So nanyesha anuvadati. So eva upayattu nanyesha, not others. Only these three. In general in this world we have these three only. Yoga upaya maya shastra yonina shreyamsi mukti trivarga premane anena bhaktehe karmatvam vyavritam. So here what is said? Yoga upaya maya shastra yonina. How many yogas? 3 yogas are there. 3 yogas are there. So 3 yogas are there, and what are the result of those? That's a moksha. So next is moksha trivarga prema. Anena bhaktehe karmatvam vyavritam. By saying the karma, gnana and bhakti, so by saying this, so bhakti is not karma. This is established. Bhakti is not. By saying karma, gnana, bhakti, yoga trayaha ketaha kete. So karma, gnana, bhaktaya. So that's why karma is different from bhakti is different from karma is established by saying separately calling bhakti. So bhakti karmatvam vyavritam. So this much is derived till now. Then you have to see the next sloka. Nirvinnanam gnana yogo nyasinamiha karmasu teshva nirvinna chittanam karma yogastu kaminam.
Among these 3 paths, Jnana Yoga, the path of philosophical speculation, is recommended for those who are disgusted with material life and are thus detached from ordinary fruitive activities. Those who are not disgusted with material life, having many desires yet to fulfill, should seek perfection through the path of Karma Yoga.
So who is eligible? For what? That we have to see. तत्र के कुत्राधिकारिणः इत्यपेक्षायाम्. So nirvinnanam iti dvabhyam iha esham madhye nirvinnanam viraktanam gruha kutumbadishu anasaktanam ityartha. Atayeva karmasu gruhashrama prapteshu nyasinam tyagavatam jnana yogah bhavet. Teshu gruhashrama karmasu anirvinna chittanam yatah kaminam kamaha vishayasaktihi vishayasaktihi tad atishayavatam. What is that? Bhumni matvardiyah. So deha geha kalatradishu asakti asaktitam asaktimatam ityartha. Simple. What he is saying, who should do this, who should do this, who should do this? What is qualification? He said that esham madhye nirvinnanam aihika paralokika vishaya pratishta sukheshu virakti chittanam. If you want to enter into this, that means you want to aihika paralaukika vishaya pratishta sukheshu. That means any pleasure in this world or otherwise in other world. Other world means swarga. Swargaloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Swarga, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka. So or any Satyaloka. So they are all paralokas. They are other lokas. So that means who is not at all interested. That means who got the detachment for all these pleasures. And also who has detachment for even for the name, fame also. Fame, name. So such a person should practice this. That means nirvinnata is the nirvinnata in pleasure in this world and or otherwise other worlds. is the entry door, is a qualification, otherwise is a qualification to practice jnana. Okay, is a qualification to practice jnana. So virakta chittanam atah eva tat sadhana laukika vaidika karma sannyasinam tani tyaktavatam ityartha. Tat sadhana laukika vaidika karma sannyasinam. That means they left the what? Laukika karma and also vaidika karma. What is laukika karma? So laukika karma means just Vedic karma means like kamya karma. That means which are prescribed by the Vedas. So like example, doing the Aswamedha Yaga, Rajashu Yaga, otherwise Agnishtoma Yaga, or so and so. These are all Vedic karma. Laukik karma means as a brother, as a friend, as a this, that you will be doing. These are all Laukik karma. As a citizen. So you will be having some different dharmas. These are all not the Vedic dharmas. These are all Laukik karma. So Laukik karma is there and Vedic karma. All these dharmas he left. All this karma he left. Karma sannyasinam. Okay. So these people left those Laukika and Vedic karmas. Actually, we will be discussing, I think, to understand pure devotion and also this, and to understand Karma Mishra Bhakti, there is a great need to understand the karma siddhanta, actually, karma, types of karma and all. What is Laukik karma? What is Vedic karma? What is this karma? What is that karma? Nitya karma, Naimitya karma, Kamya karma, Nishidya karma. All these are all very need actually. Otherwise, so if you don't know what is karma, you think karma also has bhakti. It's a big problem actually. We want only bhakti, but we don't know what we should live. And thinking that everything is bhakti, and you are thinking I am Suddha Bhakti. This problem is coming actually. So that's why very need is there actually. We should know. So that sadhana laukika vaidika karma sannyasinam tani tyaktavatam. So yad advayena drudajata mumukshunam यद अद्वयन दृढ़जात मुमुक्षूणाम इत्यभिप्रेतं तेषां ज्ञानयोगः सिद्धितः. Next sloka is going on, and after that it is coming. For them, Jnana Yoga is helpful. So, Kaminam Tatta Sukeshu Raginam. So, these people are detached from which Sukha? So, which is there in the Aihika, Paralaukika, so Sukha, Pratishta. So, they are completely detached from the Aihika Sukha and Paralaukika. But whoever is having interest for the Ahika and Laukika, Ahika and Paralaukika, Ahika and Paralaukika Sukha, so whoever is interested, then they should do karma. They should do karma. They should do karma. Kaminant tatsukeshu ragina te tatah eva teshu tatta sadhana bhuteshu karmasu anirvinna chittana tani tyaktum asamardhanam karma yoga siddhidah. So they should do karma. They should do not just karma. They should do karmarpanam, karma yoga. They should do. That is, karma yoga is nothing but also known as karmarpanam. Yeah, yes, we can say that. But if they don't do, then they are karmi. So that's why you should put another also. 2 segments you should put. So for them, siddhida, whoever is desiring material pleasure, so they should do karma. For them, what is a perfect, what will give the perfection for them? Not just karma, but karma arpanam will be giving the perfection for them. So that's why karma arpanam they should do. Whoever is interested in the material pleasure, they should do for them, karma arpanam is beneficial. They will be doing karma, but what is beneficial for them? Karma arpanam. Siddhidaha. Tattat sankalpanurupa faladaha. Next, yadruchaya matkatadau jata sraddhastu yah puman narirvinno nati sakto bhakti yogosya siddhidaha.
If somehow or other, by good fortune, one develops faith in hearing and chanting my glories, such a person being neither very disgusted with nor very much attached to material life should achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion to me.
Atatevai vedantyatitaran atitaranti cha devamaya ityado tiryajanaha api ityanena bhakti adhikaram karmadishu jatyadi kruta nema atikramat shraddha matra heturitya. So you see, devai vedanti atitaranti cha devamaya ityado tiryak janaha api ityanena bhakti adhikaram. So for bhakti, who is, so we have animals also na in this creation. Animals also there. Animals can become adhikari for the karma. Animals can do karma.
No, Prabhuji.
Animals cannot do karma. Animals don't have any, that means prescribed duties. They have their own nature and they will act upon that. And they don't have any prescribed duties. There is no varnashram system for animals. That means he's a Brahmana animal, he's a Brahmana dog, and in the dogs community, Brahmana dog, Kshatriya dog, Vaishya Sudra. No, there is no. That means they may act differently, but there is no prescribed, that means so karma for them, because they are animals, they have according to their nature they behave, that's all. So animals can practice gnana. Animals practice gnana. That means they need the detachment from the ahika. And what is the qualification for the gnanam? They should get the detachment from the ahika paraloka sukham. So okay, will they like that? No. Whatever that means, they practice gnana. If you show biscuits, immediately they will come and eat. There is no practicing of gnana. But animals can be so eligible. Animals will be eligible for bhakti. They can do bhakti. So where it is said, Devai Vedantyati Taranti Cha Deva Maya. And I don't know number, what is it? 2740. Thank you. So Ityado Tiryak Janaha Api. So Ityado Tiryak Janaha. There is a word is coming Tiryak Janaha in that. In that sloka, Tiryak Janaha is coming. Tiryak Janaha Api is coming. Tiryak Janaha Api Kim. So by the word Tiryak Janaha Api, it is understood that Ityanena Bhaktiyadhikaram. So Bhaktiyadhikaram. So they are also getting Tiryak Janaha, even animals are getting the Adhikara. Like we have Jatayu and this, that, in the animals, monkeys, Hanuman, and various animals. We have there that also descriptions of where birds. Yes, these are all the different animals we are seeing the bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. So Ananya Bhakti is popular now. Yeah, in the different animals. Yeah, Karmadishu. Karmadivat Bhatyadhikaram Karmadivat Jatyadikruta Niyama Atikramat. That means Bhaktiyadhikaram is crossing the Karmadi Vat Jatyadikruta Niyama Atikramat. Karma is done by the based upon jati also. That means which jati? Karma, that means karma and gnana, they need the specific qualification. So jati. But for the bhakti is crossing that. What is that? Shraddha matram hetu. What is the qualification? Shraddha matram. So this is the entry door. This entry door. What is that? Shraddha is only the qualification. Yadruchaya iti. So Shraddha is only the. So Yadruchaya means kenapi. So the Shraddha is only the qualification. That's why this sloka is coming and telling Yadruchaya matkatado jata Shraddhastu yaha puman. So that's why Yadruchaya kenapi parama swatantra bhagavad bhakta sangha tatkrupa jata mangalodayena taduktam susushoha shraddadhanasya. What is meaning of yadruchaya here? Kenapi, when means by someone's. What is that? Parama swatantra bhagavad bhakta sangha. That means association of the devotees is completely independent. Parama swatantra bhagavad bhakta sangha. And because of that sangha, you are getting the krupa. So, yes, na, krupa is two types, na? Samanya krupa and Vishesha krupa. Samanya krupa flows just by the association. Vishesha krupa flows when there is attention of that sadhu on particular person. Yes? In the case of aparadas, if one is having the aparadas, he needs the Vishesha krupa, special mercy. But if someone is not having the offenses, that means just by the association, the whatever Samanya krupa flows, and he will be becoming the devotee. So that's why Paramaswatantra Bhagavad Bhakta Sangha. So the association of the devotees is completely independent. It is not driven or it's not controlled by anyone. So Tat Krupa, by that association, one is getting the Krupa. Tat Krupa and Tat Krupa Jata. Because of that Krupa, what will happen? Jata means produced. What is it? Mangalodayena. Because of that Krupa, what will happen? Mangala. That means some auspiciousness is coming in that person. So Mangalodayena. So it is said in where? Sususho Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi San Mahaseva Vipraha Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. That means one is going to the Punya Tirthas. It means holy places where the devotees association is possible. If they go and seva, Nishevanat, by doing seva means just by associating or seeing or anything. So what is going to happen? So what is happening? Then he is getting the, so by that association some ruchi, basic ruchi. Then after that Vishesha Bubutsa he will be getting. So Vishesha Bubutsa, by that then what he will be going and so associating him. Shusho Shattanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shan Mahaseva. Mahaseva. Punya Tirtha initially is getting the basic ruchi. Mahasevaya. That means he is going Vishesha. That means Vishesha Bubutsa special. So inquiry he wants to do. So Mahasevaya. That means he is approaching them and serving them. Then what will happen? Then he will be getting the Shraddha. By that seva, he'll be getting the opportunity to do the susrusha. That means hearing them with attentively. Then from that Shraddha he will get. So then by that Shraddha, Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Syat. So that's why this is a sloka for what? Vichar Pradhana. Yes. And this, so by the association of the devotees, So one is getting the krupa, through that krupa, so he is getting the shraddha. And that shraddha is entry door for the bhakti. Bhakti. That is said. Next sloka we'll go to. Are nirvinno nath sakti is not said here. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, we will see his understanding. Then we'll go to the once again. You guys will tell later. Yadruchaya Pradama Skanda what is that? Vyakhana yuktya yadruchikam mahasangena matkadadu. Yadruchaya word came in the first canto. Where it came? In the first canto. Yadruchaya. Pradamaskanda Vyakhana. Sridhar Swami said Yadruchaya. In first canto where it came Yadruchaya. बापू इतना गर्मी लग रहा है अभी. फैन चलाओ. इतना गर्मी में कैसे रहेंगे आप लोग? फैन चला के डोर खोलिए. Can you open that door also? Ga Matamana. Yeah. Fourth chapter? Acha. Yes. Arrival also. So there actually Sridhar Swami is giving the commentary. Vyakhana yuktya, based upon that. Yadruchaya yadruchika mahasangena matkadado jata shraddha. Vachinda? I think power came. Yes. So in the first canto, we have seen this. So the meaning of Yadruchaya, that means Mahasanga, association of the devotees. Because of that, Matkatado Jat Shraddha. One will get the Shraddha in the Lord's past tense. Iti Atayeva Shraddhamruta Kathayam Me iti Shraddhalur Me Kataha Shunvan iti Tatra Bhakti Yoge Katha Shraddhalureva Adhikari Darshita. So there are few more places. So who is Adhikari for the Katha? So Shraddhalu. So Shraddhalureva Adhikari Darshita. Only Shraddhalu. You don't need to be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. You don't need to be a human being. It's not like that, anything. And otherwise you should be fully detached from the material. So pleasure, detachment is needed. Nothing actually. Only is Shraddha. Shraddhalureva adhikari darshita. Atra tu bhinnopakrama ityasya bhinna upakrama iti asya jnanibhyah karmibhyasya vishay. Because in this sloka he is exclusively discussing bhakti, but in the previous two slokas he was discussing the karmi and jnana. So he wants to show the difference. He wants to show the difference between the bhaktas and karmi and jnanis. Because he wants to show different. This bhakti is very different from them. Karmibhyah, jnanibhyah, karmibhyah vaishishtyam. So ekavachanena virala pracharatvam cha. So bhakti yogasya siddhidha. That means it's a very famous. Ekavachan is used. So shraddhastu yaha is used. Ekavachana puman yaha puman. Ekavachana. That means it's a very quite common. So that's why ekavachana is used. So ekavachana virala pracharatvam. So cha dhvanitam na atisaktaha means Deha geha kalatradishu asakti rahita. So na atisakta, this is the word we want because Jiva Goswami's explanation we didn't see. Na atisakta means he is not having the too much attachment for body, wife, and house, and so on, so children. Not too much attachment. Means some attachment is okay. So na atisakti, atyasakti rahita. Atra nirvinnah iti teshu nirvinnatve निर्विण्णत्वे ज्ञान अधिकारिः अत्यासक्तत्वे कर्माधिकारः अत्यासक्तिराहित्ये भक्त्यधिकारः. Here once again what? He is not too attached. Na atisaktah is said, and also na nirvinnah is also said. If he is nirvinnah, then whom he should be eligible for the jnana, and he is na nirvinnah means he will be eligible for the karma. So nanirvindah natisakta means then he is bhakti. So nirvinnatve gnanadhikaraha atyasaktatve. So see here na is used. Nirvinnah is there, atyasakta is there. Nirvinnah will make you eligible to enter into gnana. Atyasakta will make you eligible into the karma. Keep na to the both, then bhakti. Huh? So bhakti adhikari is someone is too much attached because of the modes, influence of the modes. So he cannot, that means, so the point is, if he is getting this Shraddha, here that's why in the coming section he will be explaining. So here nirvinnaha natisaktaha is not the main criteria actually. Shraddha is only the main criteria, and that he is going to establish actually. So that's why, but we want to make the criteria less. That's why we are keeping this. But here the main point is, so na atyasakta cannot be a criteria, or na nirvinna is not a criteria. That we are going to discuss. Only the main criteria is Shraddha only. But just to say there is no criteria here formed based upon the nirvinnata and atyasakta. So that's why here na nirvinna na atisakta words are used. That will be seeing. So atyasakte karmadhikaraha atyasakti rahitye bhakto adhikaraha. इत्यधिकार त्रय विवेकः निर्वेदस्य कारणं निष्काम कर्म हेतु कांतकरण शुद्धिरेव अत्यासक्तेः कारणं अनाद्य विद्या एव अत्यासक्ति राहित्यस्य कारणं यादृच्छिक महस्संग एव इति. So here nirvedah, he is nirvinnah na. Jnani should be what? Nirvinnata. Nirvinnata. So what is the cause for the nirvinnata? Nishkama karma yoga. Who became successful in Nishkama karma yoga, so he will purify his heart, and then he will be getting the nirvinnata. Okay, he should pass to become eligible in this gnana, to become eligible for the gnana yoga path. You should pass what? You should pass in Nishkama karma yoga. Yes, you should pass in Nishkama karma yoga. Then you will be getting the nirvinnata, and then you are eligible for the gnana yoga. And who is eligible for the karma? Atyasaktaha. So it means atyasaktehe karanam. Atyasaktaha is eligible for the karma. So what is the cause for the atyasakti? Avidya. What is the cause for the nirvinnata? Antakarana Suddhi. Is nothing but Nishkama Karma Yoga. So that's why here avidya. Here Jivatma is avidya. And yes. Avidya eva karana. And next, Nirvedasya, sorry. Karana Atyasakti. Atyasakti Rahitasya. Here for bhakti, here. So Atyasakti Ratiha he is. Na Atyasakta na Nirvinna. So Atyasakti Rahita he is. What is the reason for this? Association of the devotees. So whomever you see initially, they are very much with the mode of passion and ignorance. They are attached to the so much cruel, that means bad things. Because of Mahasangha, they are getting the Atyasakti Rahitya. Your Murugari case also. They will become, so by the association, Atyasakti, then they are qualified to become, doing the Ananya Bhakti. So eva iti tatra karanam drishyam kinchit etad उत्कृष्टाधिकारिणी एव लक्षणं किंतु राजन निद्रा यावन् मुकुंद चरणाम्बुजं न भजे सर्वदा मृत्यु इति उक्तेः यादृच्छिक भक्त संगैः सति इंद्रियान् एव भक्तो अधिकारी इति. इति उक्तेः, from this ukti, yadruchika bhakta sangaihi sati, by the association of the devotees, sati indriyavaneva bhakto adhikara iti gneya. That means anyone who is having the indriyavan, he doesn't need to become a human being. Indriyavan means have any one sense. That means every living entity is having either of one sense, out of 5, one sense it is definitely having. Yes or no? Every living entity, even a snake, even a tree, even a this, even that. If he is having sense, any one sense, it is getting the association, then devotee, qualified for the devotion. Who is? Sense enjoyment. Enjoyment is not there here. Sati indriyavan. Indriyavala. Sense enjoyment कहाँ है इधर? वो तो ऐसे होता ही रहता है. If you see, who possesses the sense, not that the who interested in the sense gratification, no. Possess by the association. If any entity which is having the senses, if it is having senses, and if you get the association unexpectedly, then he is qualified for the bhakti, because by association it will get the detachment, and after that, so Shraddha, and it is qualified. This is a proof. Next. तावत् कर्माणि कुर्वेता नानिर्विद्येत यावता मत्कथा श्रवणादौ वा श्रद्धा यावन्न जायते.
As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Sparanam 7:523, one has to act according to the regulatory principle of the Vedic injunctions.
Don't say. Straightforward, this is. It's a big, this big commentary we have. This is a big commentary we have this. Tavat karmani kurvita. So nanirvidyeta yavata. So tat matkata shravanado. Two options are there. So one should do the karma. So till what time? So either he is not getting the nirvidyata, or otherwise nirvinata, otherwise shraddha in katha. That means either he is not getting this, that. He has to do this karma. Yeah. Tavas, so karmani kurvita. He should do actually. So that is said. So tatra swalpaha edruchaya gnana bhaktyanukulah nakinchit iti anupayogantaraya rupatvacha iti jiva. तस्माद् अनयोः कर्मज गुणदोषाभ्यां न गुणदोषत्वम् इति भावः. यद्वा ननु एवं केवलानां कर्म ज्ञान भक्तीनां व्यवस्थोक्ता. Nanu evam kevalana. Yadva we take from the here. So nanu evam kevalanam karma gnana bhaktinam vyavastha ukta nityanaimittikam कर्म तो सर्वेषु एव आवश्यकम आवश्यकम तर्हि सांकर्यम सो कथम शुद्धे ज्ञान भक्ति प्रवर्तयेतां तदेतद् आशंक तयोः कर्माधिकारतां वारयति तावदिति. So what is the Purupakshi is asking? Acha, we have seen that. What we have seen? This qualification in the previous two slokas. Eligibility for the karma gnana bhakti is said. Karma gnana bhakti nam vyavastha ukta kevalanam. That means pure karmis, pure jnanis, pure bhaktas, kevalanam karma gnana bhakti nam vyavastha ukta. That means he said nityanaimittikam karma कर्म तु सर्वेषु आवश्यकम तर्हि सांकर्यम कथम शुद्धे ज्ञान भक्ति प्रवर्तेताम तदेतदाशंक्य तयोः कर्माधिकारतां वारयति. What is this point? What is the point? अभी तक दुनिया में क्या कर रहे हैं वो? तो he is in this Gnani and Bhakta, both are before getting the association of the devotees, before getting the association of the Jnanis. In this society, everyone should do what? So Nitya Karma and Naimittik Karma. Naimittik Karma means Samskaras. if samskaras nahi hoti to kya usko kya bolenge? Pasu bolenge. So naimittik karma is needed. Nitya karma means sandhya vandan and this. So that means in this human society everyone need to follow this nitya karma and naimittik karma. And in the sloka number 7 and 8 na actually 7 and 8, in sloka number 7 and 8 we have seen the qualification for kevalana means pure karmis, gnani and bhakta. So for these three, pure bhakti, for purely jnana, for purely karma, you have seen the qualification. What is the qualification for karma is? So atyasakti. Jnana is nirvinata. Bhaktas shraddha. Na nirvinata, na atyasakti. So we have seen like this for these three. So yes, whoever is doing that means jnana practice or otherwise bhakti practice. So what about them? That means Purva Pakshi is asking question now. हम लोग what we know, everyone what we know, everyone should follow nitya and naimittik karma. And now you set the criteria for these three. So, but we know that everyone should do these two. Then Gyanis also should do nitya karma, naimittik karma. Bhaktas also should do nitya karma and naimittik karma. Who is saying? Purva Pakshi. Then how can you say he is purely devotee? How can you say he is purely jnani? Because everyone should do nitya and naimittik karma. That's why pure devotion and pure jnana is not possible. Because everyone should do nitya and naimittik. They should not leave the nitya and naimittik karma. That's why he's saying karma sarveshu avashyakam. Sarveshu avashyakam means everyone should do nitya and naimittik karma. All these three. So then tarhi sankaryam. Tarhi sankaryam means jnana karma, bhakti karma. Sankaryam is happening. Tarhi sankaryam. Katam shuddhe. Then how it is possible? Pure jnana and bhakti. Katam shuddhe jnana bhakti. How pure jnana and bhakti? What is the fundamental point? Purva Pakshi's point. Nitya naimitya karma cannot be left at any cost of the time. Like that he knows. And he is bringing that point and raising an objection that how pure bhakti and pure jnana is possible. So to answer this opponent, so Krishna is telling tavateva karmani kurvita. That means one should do nitya and naimitya karma also till that time only. Till that time what? Either he get the nirvinata or shraddha. Till that time only he should do. Till getting of that. That means even nitya naimitya karma also they can live. So that's why anyabhilasha sunyam jnana karma janavrutam. Their karma means what Jiva Goswami is writing? Nitya and naimittik karma. Anavrutam means one should live nitya and naimittik karma also. And what about the other karmas? What are the other karmas in general in the Dharma Shastras possible? Kamya karma, Nishiddha, Prayaschitta. So anyway, these three, why Purva Pakshi didn't bring these three to say this? Because Kamya karma cannot be done because they are nirvinata is there. So this is only for the karmis. And Nishiddha karma they never do. Because they are completely detached from all these piety and sin. And Prayaschitta, if there is no Nishiddha, there is no need of Prayaschitta also out. So that's why in these three, for these three, there is no problem. Only these two. So that's why Jiva Goswami is giving in the Anyabhilasha Sunyam commentary of that sloka. So these two, Nitya and Naimittik karma. So Anavruta means is one should not feel necessity of, oh, my Brahman. So that's why. So even after coming to the bhakti also, I should do my family tradition, this vandana, that sanja vandana, this, that. No, leave everything. This my father gave thread, my dada gave thread. This kind of conception they keep actually. So that is rejected actually. Because they are said such a certain activities, such an karma as eternal, that should be done till the death. So that is the obstacle actually for the Ananya Bhakti, pure devotion. Next. Pravartayetam tadetad ashanka tayoh karmadikaratam varayati. That means that's why these two, they don't have any adhikarata to do karma. Nitya naimittika also. So karmani, that means nitya naimittikani iti tika cha. Atayeva smruti mamaivagne yaste ullangya pravartate आज्ञात चेदि मम द्वेषी मद्भक्तोपि न वैष्णव. So ityukta dosha api atra nasti. These two slokas, if whoever is not doing the karma and whoever is not following Lord's order, so he is mama dveshi. So madbhakta opi na vaishnava. So if he doesn't follow that my order, that is karma, even he is my devotee, he is not a Vaishnava. So like that, he said some places promoting of the karma there. So bhakta, being a bhakta, if you don't do the karma, so you will not be called as a Vaishnava. So this kind of dosha was shown in the case of devotee if they don't do the karma. So that dosha will not is not applied in these two cases, in the pure Jnani and Bhakta. They can completely leave everything. They can completely leaving everything. Nitya Naimitya karma also is not needed for them, means then a complete living completely. So ukta dosha atra nasti. So agna karanat pratyuta jatayoh api nasti. Agna karanat pratyuta jatayorapi nirveda shraddhayoh tatkarane eva agna bhangah. So what is this? If once they got the nirvindata in the case of Jnanis and Bhakta's case, Shraddha, after getting this, still if you follow your karma, Nitya Naimitik, then it is dosha. So not following is not enough. Sorry. And if you do, there is dosha actually. Some people they think that ये क्या है, तो भक्ति भी करेंगे, ये भी करेंगे, क्या है, वो भी पड़े रहेगा. They try to follow, they try to keep the traditions also, and also I will do the Ananya Bhakti, but it's not, then it is not Ananya Bhakti, because still you have some, there's a Pitru Paksha, this Paksha, that Paksha, satisfying these, that, these are all not, these are all rituals should be wiped off. Only to set example society might be doing, but you should not do that actually, internal conscious, just to set example in the society. Then anavrutam, then that is bhakti anavrutam. So paranishtita, then that is, but not for, you should not have the attachment. That means satisfying the demigods, satisfying the rishis, satisfying the, these are all. So various rituals are explained by in the Karma Kanda section. You should not have a tinge of attachment for those. Then it is not Ananya Bhakti. But society may think, hey, so they are cultureless people. What is this nonsense? These devotees left all this Vedic style life. Because Karma Kanda is mostly, you will see, Vedic life means most of the time Karma Kanda. So by seeing this kind of living everything, people think, hey, Vaishnavas completely. So gone case. Brahmanas may think. That's why Bhakti Siddhanta blasted them like anything. All this nonsense. What you are bringing, this Brahmanism. And he established, so Vaishnava means what? What is Vaishnavism? And following the rituals, they are addicted to that. That's Ananya Bhaktas. But, so Parinishtita Ananya Bhaktas, it means to set example to the society, to preach the society, they will do that. But their consciousness is different. So, Nirveda Shraddhayoho तत्करणे एव आज्ञा भंगः स्यात् यथा च व्याख्यातम् आज्ञैव गुणान् दोषान् इत्यस्य टीकायाम्. So that means, So in with another sloka, it is going to come in that Sridhar Swami's Tika, it is clearly explained. Bhakti daridya nivrityadikari daya santyajya nivrittadikaratvancha uktam karabhajanena. So okay, bhakti daridhyena nivrittadikarataya. So nivrit, by the strong devotion, what? Nivrittadikarataya. So getting the adhikarata for nivritti. So santijya iti. Why bhakti? Bhakta is also living. Is leaving the karma. Why? Because he got the strong bhakti. Without getting the strong bhakti, you cannot live. Who is saying? So by getting the strong bhakti, one can leave the karma. Who said this? Karbhajan. Karbhajan is saying, that means strong devotion, whoever is having strong devotion, they have the qualification to leave the karma. So who said this? Karbhajan said in which sloka? Devarsha bhutapta nunam ityadina tesham nakinkarah kintu Sri Bhagavata eva iti anadhikaritvam. So that's why for a devotee, so there is no need. Devarsha bhuta. This is the satisfying the devatas, bhutas, this, that. That means in the Karma Kanda section, there is so many, so karmic, that means if you see Manusmriti, a lot of discussion is there. In the Karma Kanda section, so many injunctions are there for the karmis. So they have to satisfy the devatas, living entities, this, that. So now Karbhajan is saying, whoever is getting the Drudha Bhakti, so he has the adhikarata to live all those nivritti adhikarata. So that's why whoever is getting the Drudha Bhakti can live. This is the Karbhajan statement is proof for us. So ityanena adhikaritvam atra karma parityaga hetutvena abhidhanat shraddha karma parityagena parityaga hetutvena abhidhanat. So that means what? Here shraddha is said in what way? Leaving the karma. In that way it is said. Shraddha is defined in what way? So after getting shraddha, you are leaving what? Leaving the karma. Means what? You are depending on the Krishna. That means it is, that's why here shraddha refers Sharanagati. So karma parityagena hetutva. Here shraddha is said as a cause for leaving the karma. Means that's why here shraddha refers Sharanagati. You are, that means here by this shraddha you are making that person to leave all karma. And he cannot do, you have only 3. He cannot do this out. This is another wing actually. And only this remaining. And you are asking him to leave that. Here shraddha is becoming the hetu to leave the karma. Means that is because shraddha can be the many. Shraddha, form of shraddha can be the many. That means getting the shraddha in drinking water, getting something. Shraddha can be the, is a vague term. But here shraddha, how it is defined? Shraddha of what? Shraddha can be many forms. I have shraddha in shraddha is not a single term actually. It can be, shraddha can be used at anywhere actually. It's a relative term. It's broad term actually. You can give the many definitions. Shraddha in eating, shraddha in seeing, shraddha in studying, shraddha in like that many. The object of shraddha can change. Like seeing is activity. The object of seeing can be changed. Seeing the pen, seeing the seeing the floor, seeing this light. So like shraddha of what? Shraddha of what? Shraddha of. Object of shraddha can be changing. So that's why here, then how to understand here shraddha? How can you give the word shraddha meaning as a sharanapatti? You may get doubt. So that's why here shraddha is becoming the cause to leave the karma. So that's why you should take the shraddha word as sharanapatti. Jiva Goswami is very precise. माने ऐसा शूट करते हैं कि अब सामने और कोई बचेगा नहीं और So that's why karma parityaga hetutve abhidhanat shraddha sharanapatyoho eva patyo ekartha labhyeta tacha yuktam. This is also true actually. We are going to prove Shraddha. Okay, we establish Shraddha is equal to Sharanapati in this way, using this context. We can also define Shraddha in another way also. We are going to establish Shraddha is equal to Sharanapati in another way also. What is that? So we are taking Shraddha means what? Shastrartha Vishwasaha. What is the meaning of Shraddha? Shraddha means Shastrartha Vishwasaha. So Shastra, this is another way of method to prove Shraddha is equal to Sharanapati. We are going to another approach. Shraddha means Shastrartha Vishwasaha. Okay? Shastra means what? Tad asharanasya bhayam, tad sharanasya abhayam. Shastra, what is saying? Whoever is surrendering to the Lord, he will not have any fear. Whoever is not surrendering to the Lord, he will be having the fear. Like that Shastra is saying. Okay? So that's why if anyone is understanding that means whenever is having the faith on the conclusions of the Shastra, that means whoever is believing this statement, that means whoever is surrendering to the Krishna, he will not be having the fear. Whoever not surrendered, he will be having the fear. In this, if anyone is putting the faith means what? Vishwas, believing this means what? He will be Sharanagat. So the Tata Jataya Shraddaya. So that means whoever is getting that kind of Shraddha in that state, in that meaning of Shastra, in that conclusion of Shastra, if anyone getting the belief, means he should be definitely surrendering. So that's why surrendering to the Lord is the symptom of Shraddha. This is established by two ways. That's why our Ananya Bhakti starts with the Sharanagati. It is not just today you started Bhakti and you are thinking that Ananya Bhakta. No. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. This is the beginning. Before that, we are here only. 99% we are here. पचने के लिए तो दिक्कत होता है ये बहुत लोग, because I taught in Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, in Bhakti Vedanta, in Madhuri Kadambini, in Vedanta Sutras. I went through the so many in the English Bhakti Shastri, Hindi Bhakti Shastri, so many, maybe hundreds, 200, 300 devotees I went through, maybe in the just last 3 months. So much rebel actually. What is this? Initially, whenever they heard, they immediately felt so bad actually. So, disappointed completely. Completely, they got disappointment. Prabhu, you are saying we are not doing Ananya Bhakti. And this much is demand. Like that, what can I do? But so heavy actually. Huh? Ananya Bhakti, pure devotion. And they think that's in the cozy way, if you want, without surrenderance, that means surrenderance also you have big, so it's the 6 lingas. Once again, it's the 6 angas are there. That is also, we'll be seeing anyway. That is also very big discussion actually. So that's why we are not in that kind of surrenderance. We should have so proper karma. Tavat karmani kurvita. You should do karma. You should do varnashram dharma. But those should be conducive to develop this kind of shraddha. Such a karma you should. That is Daiva Varnashram. Oh, इतने इसके लिए बहुत हम लोग mind खराब कर. What is Daiva Varnashram? What is the many people they ask? What is Daiva Varnashram? This is Daiva Varnashram. Because after that, Ananya Bhakti, no karma, nothing. There is no Varna and Ashrama. You should not identify Varna and Ashrama. So that is Daiva Varnashram. Simple. Yes. There is no identification after Sharanagati. He'll be Sharanagati means he's identifying himself as a Lord, as a servant of the Lord. So consciousness should not polluted by the Varna and Ashrama designations. Then that is a dangerous. Then he cannot be. That's a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's starts from here actually. Rai Ramananda discussion. What is this? This from here actually. Why you are applying? You don't have that kind of Shraddha and speaking. That is instructions. And Prabhu, this is not. Or that is not needed for whom? You have that adhikara to apply that. Where is the adhikara? You have to see na adhikara. Any statement of the Shastra is having the adhikari. Adhikara. This, it is meant for qualification. You cannot apply every sloka on you. Karma Mishra Bhakti also, Suddha Bhakti also, this Bhakti, Jnana, Karma, everything you apply on you. Khichdi. This is the problem actually. भगवत गीता में जो भी आएगा वो हम सब अपना में अप्लाई करेंगे. यही सिद्धांत चलता है. क्योंकि we see everything as like a Brahman, na? Everything is one. All the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Same class if you deliver on every sloka, then what will understand people? This is by the bringing down the standards of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita slokas, then this will cause to this kind of problem then. Completely illusion, no discrimination. If you don't know the divisions, you don't know adhikara for, and you don't know the types of bhakti, you don't know the karma, gnana clearly, it's a completely mess. चलो अब हो गया ये विश्वनाथ चक्र ठाकुर सेम ना चले आगे नेक्स्ट श्लोक एक श्लोक करके चले जाएंगे ठीक 10 हो जाएगा छोटा है ना विश्वनाथ जी का एक मिनट प्रभु निर्वर्ण तथा same. This is a fundamental slokas, these 3-4 बहुत backbone actually a structure. चलिए तब तो देर तक रखेंगे चलो कल करेंगे. Our time is till what? 1 o'clock we came. अच्छा 1:15. Okay. We'll do. स्वधर्मस्तु यजन्यज्ञैर् अनाशिः काम उद्धव नयाति स्वर्ग नरकौ यद्यन्यत् न समाचरेत् यद्यन्यन्य यदि अन्यन्य अन्यत् न समाचरेत्.
My dear Uddhava, person who is situated in his prescribed duty, properly worshipping by Vedic sacrifices, but not desiring the fruity result of such worship, will not go to heavenly planets. Similarly, by not performing forbidden activities, he will not go to hell.
So, Swadharmastah yajan yagnehi anashihi kama uddhava nayati sarga narko yadi anyat na samacharet. स्वधर्मस्थ यजन यज्ञ अनाशी काम उद्व नयाति स्वर्ग नरको यदि अन्यत न samachare. My dear, a person who is situated in his prescribed duty, so properly worshipped by Vedic sacrifices, but not desiring the fruitful result of such worship, will not go to heavenly planets. Similarly, by not performing forbidden activities, he will not go to hell. This is good. So that means he is karmarpanam. Anashihi means without any desire. He is doing his karma. So ejeta sarga kamaha. To get the swarga, you should be desiring the swarga and do the yagya. You are doing yagna with the desire of the swarga, then only you will get the swarga. you are doing the yajna but not desiring the swarga, then you will not go to the, yeah. Yes. Okay, you can go, Rukmini Mohan. Yeah. 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 Because he is telling this important is Tavat Karmani Kurviti is said, then you should not do this karma with attachment. You should do this karma without attachment, then only you can be qualified to go to the Gnana actually. That's why he's opening the door for that. And you are not doing the forbidden activities also, and doing the prescribed duties without result, without expecting result, then he will be going to the, you will not be going to anywhere. That is needed actually. So that's why it is said in this 10th sloka. So tadeva yogatrayam tad adhikara hetunscha uktva karmanah api yatha bhagavad samukya rupatvam syat. That means how karma can be bhagavad samukyam is said here. Karma cannot be bhagavad samukyam, but karma can become bhagavad samukyam when it is offered to the Lord. That is said. That means karmarpanam is said here in this. Otherwise, why we have these two sections here? Doing karma is not the samukyam, but this will become samukyam when it is offered. So that is said in 10th sloka. That's this point. If you want two sections, this is needed actually. This sloka is needed. That is said. Okay. So that's why tadeva yogatrayam tadadhikara hetuncha uktva karmanah api yatha bhagavad samukya rupatvam syat tataha swadharma iti tikayam swargam api iti punya phala bhogasyopa lakshanameva idam afala kamatvam kevala ishvara aradhana buddhya kurvanatvam. Ishvara aradhana buddhya kurvana. That means doing karma for worshipping the Lord. No, pleasure is not saved. For the Lord, with pleasure and with detachment, two will come once again. You have to keep the door, that means difference there. Then it will be entry door for the two different things. So here, tatra gnani sange sati tanmatrattvameva bhagadarpanam bhavet bhakta sange tu tat santoshamayatvam. You are seeing. So this karmarpanam, if he is getting this karmi association of the gnani, then he do the karmarpanam. So for what sake? Tanmatrattvameva. That means just to the offering the Lord, he is offering. But if he is getting the association of the devotee, this karmi, then he offer this santoshartham, santoshamayatvam. That karmarpanam is santoshamayatvam. That's why karmarpanam is two types. This is needed. With these two paths. Okay, we'll see the remaining tomorrow. How many are there? वो अभी तो मेन डायग्राम हो गया ना, अभी तो दौड़ेंगे अभी. Yeah. Yes. 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 Ruchi. You will get savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhakti radokshji. Ahaitu kapati. Okay, thank you very much. Srila
Thank you.
Prabhupada ki jai.